Okay, so for today, the agenda has been watered down to two main things. There was a whole game and stuff we're going to do, but then we're like, let's get straight to the point so that we can wrap up as quickly as possible. And, so we are going to just have the project presentation, and then we also have some special awards to give out. So I'm very sure that most of us here were a part of the open source, but if not, I'll give a quick recap of the initiative, what we sought to achieve, and how everything progressed. So the goal of this open source project that we embarked on was to encourage collaboration and skill development among women in tech by working on projects. And the initial plan was actually to build one project where everybody pitches in. But then on one of our calls with Maria and Juliana, we realized that we have so many beginners and people that are making transitions into tech, right? So then we're like, if we are to initiate something like the open source that we have out there, it might not be of great benefit to everybody, right? So then why don't we start something with smaller groups so that people would get the experience, one, and also so that those that are new to the idea of building or collaborating code would get some experience, learn from the seniors or the more experienced people before we look to create something bigger in the future. So that's how the thinking that went into the project, right? And over the last 6 weeks, we had 4 groups, and we had about 3 to 4 top contributors per group, and about 5+ active participants per group. And even though these numbers are quite interesting, because when we started with about 11 to 12 members per group. But as you may know, life happens, priorities change, so people that may have committed to working on the project before some were not able to follow through. But we also have seen people that followed through from beginning to the end. For that, first of all, we are very grateful. And it was very inspiring to see some of you start strong in the beginning and then hold that same energy and enthusiasm through to the end. Now, before we go to the awards, I'll give the opportunity to the various groups on here to do their presentations. And we've already graded the presentation, the project, and we know we are going to award. But because we sort of created the groups, we created private groups for the 4 groups. Most of you are not really aware of what the other group did, what they built, the challenges they faced. So this is an opportunity to hear from the other groups and see what they did, see other projects aside your project. And the rules are very simple. You have a maximum of 5 minutes to present, and about 2 minutes of Q&A. If there are no questions, you can just use the 2 minutes to share anything aside the presentation that you want to share, like how it went for you, how collaborating felt, and your experience overall. So I hope that I'm not putting anybody on the spot, but we will start with group 4, which is Poulami's group. So Poulami, if you are ready, I would stop sharing and then you can take over from me.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can share my screen. So can you see my presentation?
Yes.
So hello everyone and good afternoon. I am Poulami from the group Global Code Queens, and our challenge was the mighty multi-page website. So I'll try to make it fast and finish it in 5 minutes. So now it's 16:14 at my place. I will try to finish it by 16:19. Okay, so I'll introduce you with fabulous contributors across the world. And so I'll start with myself. I am from Berlin, Germany. We have Joan, our CSS master from San Francisco Bay Area, USA. Feven from Ethiopia. Manami from United Kingdom. Erika from Boston. Eunice from Houston, Texas. Kezia from Ghana. Uzma from Sahiwal, Pakistan. Seyfu from Toronto, Canada. So we all together from the different parts of the world, so we completed this project. So a brief introduction of what we have done is our project was a static website that we have voted and chose React as the JavaScript library to work on, featuring 3 main pages inside the website: home, about, and contact. They are not only static pages, they do have interactions, which I will be showing you ahead. The goal was to create the simple, responsive website that can be easily deployed and maintained on a long run. So these are some of the important links which we can refer to during the Q&A session. So as per the front-end mentors challenge, these were the main screens. On the left, you can see the home screen, and on the right, the about and the contact us. I will come more deep into details of this screen. So I'll shortly try to mention about the approach that we have taken while solving this problem. First of all, we made a vote in our private group, and from there we selected the name, the Java project, the JavaScript library, the CSS library, whatever we had. So there were a few criteria that we have kept in mind while selecting the project. Was since React was the most voted JavaScript library, what was our knowledge efficiency in React? So we found that we have a vivid knowledge. Some are quite pro on it, some are quite naive on it. Apart from that, we also had to take into consideration our knowledge in Git and GitHub, since we will be doing this open source project, and also the CSS library. There also we found that people have varied knowledges about the CSS library, so we tried to keep it on vanilla CSS. Next was the task. So we used the free version of the Atlassian Jira product for maintaining the task. And it really helped us to track the task plan and see what is the current status of the project at any point of time in the 6 weeks. And finally, we have used GitHub for maintaining our repository. And also we implemented the deployment features using GitHub Actions and GitHub Pages, so that any pull request that is being created, once it gets approved and merged, we can immediately see how it will look in the production environment. So in all these approaches, we just want to make the contributors feel how enterprise applications work, so that when they jump into the enterprise application, it doesn't seem to be something new to them. So they get habituated to all these levels of the project. So I'll just explain the bird eye view of what we have done. So what we have seen is that we have a layout, and that layout renders all the pages that we have, a fixed header and a footer section, and the 3 individual pages: home, about, and contact us. So this was the first module that we could think of in this project. And then we have splitted them into pages. So as we all know, the 3 of them, the first 3 were as given by the front-end mentor, but 4th was part of our innovation. So as we know that during this project opening ceremony, Ophi mentioned that there is a point for innovation as well. So for that innovation part, we figured out this not found page, so that if the user gives any erroneous route or try to manipulate the route and it goes different, so we will just land up into the not found page. I will show the page shortly. So now I'll come into how we have splitted in the task among all of us. Like for the home page, we have found that we have these 3 broad sections over there: the talent, the management, and the success stories. And accordingly, we have created the folder structure in our project. and the header and the footer has remained fixed. Next, for about page also, we have splitted the content of the page into the 3 sections. And in this Meet the Director section, each of these profile cards have a user interactivity. Like if you click on this plus button, then it will just flip and show you the details of that particular director. So we have that functionality in place, and also we created the folder structure accordingly. For contact us, it's the same, and we have this contact form as well, which we have implemented with the React forms with proper validation. And finally, once submission is done with all the validations that was being asked in the front-end mentor challenge, and then once the form is submitted, we console whatever currently we have inserted in the data. So after this, we have the shared section. So this shared section includes the header, footer, and anything that is reusable across the application. So over here, as you can see, this ready to start button section, the footer section, and also the typography and the button. So that we have tried to consolidate all entire typography and button into separate components so that the contributors don't have to worry on the typography and all those stuff. They can just implement it as it is needed. And this is the page not found that we have, as I mentioned earlier, that we did as part of the innovation project. So I will just try to highlight some of the key features that we have taken into consideration for this. First is the unit test. That is whatever static content, user interactivity, forms, routing, whatever we have implemented, we have covered it with an unit test. Second is the deployment. For the unit test, we have used the React testing library as well. For deployment, as I mentioned, we have used the GitHub Actions and the GitHub Pages so that every time whatever is merged to master is automatically deployed. We don't have to do anything else to deploy it and see how it works in production environment and all those stuff. Everything gets auto-deployed. For CSS, as I mentioned, we used a vanilla CSS, and vanilla CSS has high chance of spillover in React applications. Since we are all working separately across the world, we have used the CSS modules for that so that we can restrict this spillover. Indexing. Indexing is something that all the folder structures should maintain a proper index, because as we know, when we read through the code, if the import is too big, then it all seems like, okay, I have to go through a lot of very lengthy code, and we already go half dead over there. So the import section should be very short and crisp, and that's the reason why we focused on indexing heavily during the application. Responsiveness is, yes, as per the requirement, the application should be fully responsive and for the mobile, tablet, and the desktop view. I will try to go fast because it's already, I'm over time, I think. For the routing, we have used the React routing library, which will going through the navigations. Semantic HTML tags. Yes, we have followed the semantic HTML tags to convey the meaning and structure of the content on the web page, making it easier for search engines to and other devices. So if someone is not aware of semantic HTML tags, then it's actually, instead of using div randomly, we will be using proper header, footer, navigations, then article, section, aside, and so that it's easy for the search engines to understand what our content is. And finally, the reusability. For reusability, as I mentioned earlier, for typography and button components and anything that is used in more than one place, we have made it a reusable component, and for the homogenization of the changes. Now, what's next? We did an open source project, and the next we have 3 open parts. First of all the data that we are seeing over here are static data. So it will be nice if we can put it into a web server and fetch it when we require it. Error page is currently only for the route, for the not found. So if any error happens in between the application execution, we should be navigating it with a proper message in the error page. And finally, after form submission, we have currently just logged the data in the browser. It will be nice to have the data stored in some web server. So yes, that was all our implementation in this particular open source project. So yes, any question if you have.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Poulami. Since you've set a new time record for us, no, but I mean, like, you did it within 8 minutes, 40 seconds, which is okay, Thank you. There's a question in the chat for you. So it says, Poulami, for you and your team, what was the most challenging moment and how did you overcome them? Secondly, what is your biggest takeaway from this experience?
Okay. What was the most challenging moment? Yes. So the most challenging moment that we had was initially we were of 9 developers team, but unfortunately we couldn't get the contribution from one of our developers, Saha. She has gone through a very deep personal loss and she couldn't contribute for that. But we received her all support during this implementation of the project. She was there in this meetings and all those stuff, but we really missed her presence in the submissions, or rather in the implementation. So that was one of our most challenging things. Apart from the time zone, and these were definitely challenges, but Joan overcome those challenges very nicely. And we often had one-to-one calls, even on weekends, on Sundays. And with that, we worked on it. And from Ainur, how did you split what part everyone worked on? Okay, so what I did as part of that was like I just splitted the tickets in the Jira board and I kept it as an open canvas to everyone. Based on your efficiency level, your interest, and your knowledge, pick whichever ticket you want. If you are finishing one, then just go free to you're free to pick up the next one. It's all up to the contributors, like whatever they wanted to work on, they could work. So yeah, that was the thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't know if Zoom has a clap effect, but in the meantime, you can. Okay, so I think that we can move to group two. Group two, Jasira, I think will be. Wait, is it Jasira? Hold on, a minute. Sorry, Jessica Vargas. Jessica, are you here?
Hi, yeah. Let me get my
Okay,
camera on.
hi. Thank you, and
Hi.
you can go ahead.
Okay. Erika was our team leader. She did an amazing job, but unfortunately she had another commitment today. So she's not able to present. So I'm going to show you guys the project that we did. And yeah. Let me see. Okay. So we did the Kanban task management web app, and this is a little bit of a preview of what we got, what we were aiming for. And then so Erika did a great job setting everything up. We decided to try doing both the front end and the back end, the server and client side. So she set up a task management here. We used GitHub project task management and came up with a bunch of different tasks that we noticed that the app would need. And people just sort of self-assigned. And as you can see here, we completed a lot of tasks. And we are also still working on a lot of things. So we had a lot of things that are still in progress, a lot of things that as we completed one task, we realized like, okay, now we need to do this other step after this, or some things that needed a different task done before they could be completed. So that was some of the challenges that we ran into, was sort of the flow of the work a little bit and having things done before other things to make sure everything was running smoothly. So then our final product, or I won't call it our final product, our product in progress is here. And you can start to see some of the elements from the original design. So you have the hovers and different features in the CSS. One of the big things was to have dark mode and light mode. So we have the switch to go to dark mode and light mode, and then also to hide the sidebar. And then we also have a few modals here, so we can create new boards and add new columns and type into there. done with board names, and we have some validation on some of our forms. And then one of the things that I'll click on a few more here. We have, if you click on one of the tasks, it opens up another pop-up here with the more details about that. So you can edit or delete it. And so one of the things that we had just started to implement was the back end. So we had Gina set us up with Mongo, which was amazing. But we just we kind of ran out of time, basically. We just ran out of time, especially the last week. A lot of us got too busy to kind of put on some of the final touches. But it's all set up and ready for us to continue working on and put in some of, combine our front end with our back end. So yeah, it was a great experience for me personally. This was the first time that I've collaborated to code. So just learning what a task management app was, and then using the GitHub task management app, all of those things were new for me. So it was a great team. Everybody stepped in if there were any issues, if anybody had any questions, there was always someone responding in our Slack. So it was great. Let's see. Questions or
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Okay. Oh, could
for
you
your
guys hear me?
presentation. Like, this is
Okay.
so nice to see. Sorry? No, we could hear you.
Okay.
We could hear you all right. Yes. I was saying that this is like very nice to see. You know, like I didn't want to get ahead of myself where, you know, like to show the like what the various groups did ahead of time, but honestly, like for us, the little time that we had and like the projects that all the groups were able to put out from group 1 to group 4, it's so nice and encouraging to see. So thanks for your commitment throughout the project as well. And I don't think there are any questions because you've literally like covered the question that was given to Poulami. So yes, there are a lot of applause for you and your team. So you have this from me as well. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the next presentation from Group 1, Jenny's team.
Hello. Okay, we're Group
Hello.
1. Oh, oops. There we go. My name is Jenny. Let me quickly share my screen, and then I'm gonna hand it the demo part. I'm gonna hand it over to Eileen, but let me just give you a quick intro. 1 second. Okay. Can you guys see the screen okay?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay, great. So we tackled the DevJobs web app for our project. So at like kind of like the MVP level, what we needed to implement was kind of pulling data from the JSON file and displaying all the different job availabilities. There will be like a search bar where you could filter by title, location, and kind of like the status of the job, full-time, and things like that. And then if you click on the job card, it will take you to like a details page where you have more information about the job. You can navigate to, well, in this case, a dummy company site, and like kind of like way to like apply for the job. And then of course, just implementing the responsive part of it. For our tech stack, we chose React, Vite, and then language JavaScript, and then also style components so that we could kind of like create custom styles and not rely on like a CSS framework, just so that everyone could get that experience. In here, we've set up our project structure by like assets where we store our images and our JSON file components. self-explanatory pages, a page itself, and the themes, anything related to kind of the themes. So I think for now that's good. I'm gonna hand it over to Eileen for her to actually demo our, and sorry, for our project management, forgot one thing. We've used the GitHub project board. We were able to complete the MVP of our project. The 2 additional features that we weren't able to complete because we ran out of time were the light and dark theme toggle, and then the kind of like building our application as like a full stack app. So no backend, and we didn't have like a database like connection. So pretty standard. We were able to clear everything. And actually, we actually found one bug today while we were like playing around with the site in preparation for the demo. So that's something that we hope to work on and the additional features. Okay, now I'll hand it over to Eileen for the demo portion.
Great. Thank you, Jenny, for that great introduction. So I'm going to share my screen to demo our app. So I'm very proud of our team for what we accomplished in such a short amount of time. So like Jenny mentioned, there's certain things that we couldn't implement due to the timeline, but I'm very proud of what we've done. So this is our app. It's actually live right now. So if you navigate to that URL, you can actually play around with it, but play around with it after I finish my demo. So this is our main page. So you can see on this page, you can see all the different job listings. Really like this cute little animation as you hover over it, see it going up, and then you can also load more job. So right now, because this is a static JSON file, we only have a certain amount of listings, but if this was a live site, you will see more and more job listings. And then one of our key features was the search functionality. So you can search by or filter by titles, companies, expertise, and then here you can filter by location. So for example, if I was looking for a job, I don't know, in Japan, you can see there's 2 job openings in Japan. And then I think right here, you can search by title, maybe anything with engineer in the title. There you go. I can filter by, I guess, based on what keywords I put into the search filter. And then the last thing is there's this toggle for full-time or part-time. So these listings are organized based on whether they're part-time opportunities or full-time opportunities. And with this filter, I can toggle that and show only like full-times. So that's the search functionality. We go back and you see everything again. So once let's say you filter out job, let me go back to Japan, and I'm very interested in learning more about the first role. So I would just click into this card, and now we get to our second page, which is the job details page. So on the job details page, you see the company profile, so their website, and then you can also quickly navigate to the website page. But also more importantly, you see the job details, what the job entails, what the description, the requirements for this role. And if you're a job seeker, you're interested in what you're going to be doing on your day-to-day basis. So this is what we see. So if you don't like this job, you can go back, maybe look at another job posting, and then you see the same thing. All the details, job description, where it's located, requirements, and so forth. And then if you're ready to apply, you just quickly click on the apply now button, and it'll link you to a different page so that you can apply right away. And then the key feature that we also implemented was ensuring that our site is fully responsive. So that is something that we prioritize over like the dark and light theme. So we want to make sure that our website our web application is fully responsive. So you can see this is responsive. It looks different than how it is on the desktop version. And then here, go back to the main page. So let's see here, everything is in one nice column. Like that. I think that's most of our features. And I think the search, actually, yes. On the mobile version, you also have a filter pop-up. So slightly different UI than the other one, but works similarly. Japan search, and you see the 2 Japan listings again. Did I miss anything? I think I captured everything.
I think so. You did a great job. Thanks.
Great. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you
Cool.
for listening.
Any
Thank you
questions
so
for
much.
us? Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Any questions? Yeah.
Oh, no. Your time is not up, so you can go ahead. But I think that the demo was so good, so there are no questions.
All right.
Yeah, but
short and sweet.
this was really nice. Thanks for the demo. And yes, there's applause. Time for applause, please. Thank you, Group 1 for your presentation. It was really nice to see like the smooth animation and all, like this was a very nice MVP. Thank you. Okay, if there are no questions for them, we'll move to, I think, the final group, that is Group 3. Lexi's group.
Hi, everyone. I'll share my screen.
Hi, Lexi.
I'll be talking through our the application we built on Team Dev Divas. That is not what I want to share. Okay. Put it down the various projects to a couple options, and everybody ultimately agreed that the dictionary app would be a great thing to try based on our collective experience and desire to learn more about JavaScript and interacting with APIs specifically. So here's our GitHub repo. And we decided, also based on everyone's experience, that we were just going to work primarily with vanilla JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. We didn't use any libraries or anything too fancy. We just had raw HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and it interacted. We interacted with the free dictionary API and made some CSS adjustments for the styling, including switching between light and dark toggling and some other things that I don't want to spoil for the demo. So with that. So here's the MVP of the site that we built, the application. And here's our input bar, and you can search here for any word. And it returns the response from the dictionary API. So nouns, verbs, if applicable, and the source. And when it's available, it also returns the audio, which is pretty cool. And we made sure that our search form had validation. So if you typed in something that's not a word, tells you no definitions. And if you try to search for something empty, you can't search for something for nothing. So here you also have the option of toggling between the light mode and the dark mode. We did that with CSS and JavaScript, and there's also the option to change between different fonts based on what mood you're in, with this very cute drop down here. So we have sans serif, serif, and mono. And these were the main functionalities that we were able to complete. And we wanted to deploy the application on our own after the presentation, but Maria deployed it for us, so that's what I'm able to show you here. But we want to talk through deployment, maybe some CI/CD pipelines for future development when if folks are interested in working more on it. And yeah, that pretty much covers what we were able to put together in our short time. It was great to work together with so many people, but we definitely had some challenges coordinating across time zones. And but we were able to manage various time frames with GitHub projects. So we organized everything in here. So we have all of our done stuff, and we just left we divided up the issues based on functionality versus style, like so views, styles, if something was a JavaScript function or just HTML scaffolding. We had some restructuring of the files as we moved through it, and a little bit of documentation in our README. And last but certainly not least, the contributors on Dev Divas were myself, Gabriela, Ainur, Hero, Audrey, and Christine. So that's all I've got. Ready for any questions? Oh.
Thank you so much, Lexi, for your presentation. And I was trying to go through because the link was put in the chat, and it's actually very bold, you know, like to drop your demo link on the day of demoing your app, because you know, like something could just break while someone is looking at it, and you know, but like, yeah, thank you so much. Because your time is not up, maybe you can answer a question. So let's see. There's no question for you in the chat, which means like the demo was good, right? But I'll take a question from what was asked Poulami, and then ask you. You already spoke about the challenges, right? So what was your biggest takeaway from this experience?
I would say I learned a lot about how to divide up the tasks, that like just break things down in a way that made sense for everyone. And that was something that initially I hadn't had much experience with. So finding a way that made sense for everyone to work together, with avoiding as many merge conflicts as possible, but we certainly had our fair share of that. But getting the issues just completely, you know, set up in a way that worked for everyone, if that makes any sense. Just making them bite size and accessible. Also, I see Ainur, I completely forgot to show that our lovely app is completely responsive across every screen size. So if I still have time, I'm going to show you that. I can't believe
Sure.
I forgot. So here we go. Oh, where's my tools? All right, well, I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. So you can see everything minimizes and our divs change based on the size. Oh, here they are. No, they're not. They keep disappearing. Okay. Yep, so we used media queries for the responsiveness. That's all I've got.
Thank you so much, Lexi. And there are the uploads in the chats for you, so I'll add mine. Thank you, and good job to you and your team. I think at this point, everybody has presented. We have a few minutes to go through the special awards, but before that, I'd like to hear from one or two people, you know, like from any of the groups. You know, you can just unmute and then tell us about your experience right before we zoom into the special awards. So mostly the leads have presented, told us about their challenges. If like you're a newbie, this was the first time you're collaborating, this is like you learned a new technology through the open source, whatever it is, you can just unmute and then I have space for just 2 people, and then we would move to the special award. So anyone?
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
Hey everyone, so I'm from the Unicorn Squad. So I just want to give a public kudos to Jenny. Like, she was an amazing lead. Like, she helped us stay organized throughout. She was like one of the best leads I've ever had. I wish I had her on my team for any project in the future. So she was very understanding, and she kept us in check with like weekly sprints. I think this is something we may not have mentioned in our presentation, was that we had weekly sprints, and then we make sure that, you know, certain tasks were allocated accordingly to the capacity of people that week, and then also moving tickets around, reassigning to different people. So everything was super organized. As you can see on our GitHub board, everything was always organized. All the tickets were organized. She spent so much time on our PRs. I learned so much from her in this short amount of time that we spent together. So kudos to Jenny. And of course, the rest of the team, you guys are also great to work with. Yeah, and hopefully we can have more of these projects in the future.
Thank you so much, Eileen. Anyone else before we move on? I know this wasn't planned, you know, but you can just unmute and share.
I just want to give kudos to Lexi. For context, I'm Christine and I'm from Dev Divas. She was always like very receptive to whatever idea we had, and if there was like an issue that we were facing, she'd give us tips, and if we were like struggling with anything personally, she'd always encourage us to just take a break and just take a break and focus on other stuff. So yeah, just want to give her kudos for being supportive.
Thank you so much, Christine. And we're sorry that we woke you up.
Oh no, I just have a
Sorry.
really soft voice.
Okay. I thought that we have woken you up for the event. Thank you. Okay, I would share my screen again so that we wrap up. We have just a few minutes to go. Okay. Okay, so I hope that you can see my screen. So for special awards, we had 4 coming in, but whilst this was going on, we added 1 because there was a last award that was for the best demo. But I mean, before the demos, we couldn't, like put that in. So we'll jump straight in and give the award for leadership, which, we all know would go to our lead for the various groups. So Jenny, Erika, Lexi, and Poulami, thank you so much for your leadership over the past 6 weeks. Christine and Eileen may have mentioned Jenny and Lexi, but Erika, Poulami, also put in so much effort. And for me, like, seeing the leads show up every day was amazing. I don't know if I would have been able to show up every day if I happened to be one of the leads for the groups, but these 4 ladies like showed up every day. And like, most importantly, like, I have to mention that they didn't sign up to be leads initially. How we chose leads were like based on experience. So everybody fills the form. Then we chose the people that indicated that they had 5+ years of experience, right? And like, even though we sort of suggested or appointed, they like accepted it wholeheartedly and led their teams to deliver the great projects that you saw. So please, like, a round of applause for all our leads. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Next, so yes, this is the sample certificates that the leads are going to get, going to be emailed to you. You can add to your LinkedIn, whatever, but this is how it's going to look. Next, we have our top contributors award. So these are the people that showed out or showed up, like for like the whole 6 weeks. There may have been hiccups along the way, but these people stayed and they made sure that, like, their projects were like eventually, like, they had something to, like, to deliver. And they learned, I'm very sure that, like, all these people learned along the way, so I'm going to do a quick exercise and try and mention the names. So Jenny, Erika, Gabriela, Feven, Joan, Lexi, Poulami, Manami, Eunice, Kezia, Jessica, Christine, Eileen, and Anna. Thank you all so much for sticking and staying with your groups and ensuring that, like, the project, like, you didn't just contribute, that you cared about it so much to make sure that, like, you delivered a good job. And most of you are actually on this call today, which shows, like, your commitment is, like, top notch. Thank you so much. Next, so this is also the sample certificates that the top contributors are going to get. Yes. Next, we have the best collaboration award in your various, Slacks, reacting to messages and, like, seeing what is going on. It was mainly, to motivate you first and also to pick some of these awards that we were to give, right? But there's this group that really stood out in terms of collaboration, right? They were always, like, looking out for each other, had each other's back. It doesn't matter that this person picked up task. If they weren't able to finish up, someone would just jump in. There was a bug, like, it was just amazing to see this group like collaborate and then come up with their project. And the best collaboration award goes to the Dev Divas. So Lexi and her team, Anna, Gabriela, wow, it was just amazing to see you ladies, like, collaborate. It was amazing. Like, it was amazing. And so yes, you get the award for best collaboration and keep up the great work. The next award goes to the best demo. So as I said, this we had to quickly put in after looking at what was presented, and it was quite difficult to select. It was quite difficult to select, but after a few minutes of deliberation, the best demo award goes to, it was a tie. So Code Queens and Unicorn Squad, thank you so much for the beautiful demo that you gave us tonight, this morning, this afternoon, depending on what time zone you are in. Thanks for the beautiful demo. And yes, so you get that award. And finally, we get to give the best project award. So best project award, this group didn't just go above and beyond when it came to collaboration, but, like, they also, like, they didn't just build the project, right? They built the project. They even went as far as implementing tests. And, like, for us, like, when we're say judging the project, we're all just so amazed, like, wow, 6 weeks was enough to build and add tests. Yes, so like, the best project award would go definitely to the Global Code Queens. So Poulami and her team, Joan, Kezia, and everybody from Global Code Queens that's on the call. You must be so proud. Wow. Like
Thank you so
so
much.
impressive,
It's
so impressive,
awesome. Thank
so
you.
impressive, so impressive what you were able to like achieve, like pulling everybody along. And at the end of the day, for me, like what impressed me the most was the fact that like you made sure that the beginners like all grew from this project. Like they were assigned tasks, and they weren't left to say, not like any other group left their beginners to struggle, but like watching how the beginners, like Joan would step in to like have syncs with people that were struggling, and it was so amazing to see. So thank you, Global Code Queens, for like raising the bar so high with this project and making like everything so beautiful to see you collaborate. Yes. So as like aside the top contributors and then the leads, anyone else that participated would also get a badge. So this is the badge that participants are going to get. You can still add to your LinkedIn and whatever, but this is the badge for participants. We don't take your participation lightly. As we mentioned in the beginning, life happens, things may have come in the way of your participation, but we hope that the next open source project that we do, you'll be able to be a top contributor or a lead even. And so the ETA for certificates and badges. So right after the call, we'll start sending the certificates in batches, of course, from the leads, the top contributors, and then to the participants. So you're going to receive it by mail, and we are using the mail that it's on your Slack. So if you don't want to receive it by that mail, please send me a DM on Slack and just like let me know the email that you want to receive your certificate on. And if you decide to post it on social media, you can use any of these hashtags: Frontend Queens, Open Source 2024, Women in Front End. And that's about it. Thank you everyone for joining. And yes, see you next year or like for our next open source project. Thank you.